Super quick question here. How many tabs do you have open right now? If you're like me, it's a lot. And if you're running a business, it's a lot more. And with all those tabs, you're spending more time searching through data and less time, growing your business. But HubSpot's customer platform brings all your tools into a single powerful place that your teams can use together. So close those tabs. It's business growing time. Visit HubSpot.com to get started today. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday, September 17th. I'm John Weigell here with Sara Friedman, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. The average person in 2024 deals with a chatbot from time to time. Chatbots live on the internet through ChatGPT and Gemini or, tons of customer service modules. But do we trust them yet? Survey says we're warming up to them. So just how much do people trust chatbots nowadays, and how far will we let them ascend in our ranks? We'll chat about that in a bit, but first let's give you the hits and headlines in business and tech. Starting us off here, Harland and Wolff, the 163-year-old UK shipbuilding company that built the Titanic, said it's insolvent after a request for $264 million from the UK government was rejected. From there, we move to Apple. Apple Watch's sleep apnea detection feature received approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The tool requires data from 10 nights of sleep over 30 days to diagnose the condition. Next, Home Depot must pay $1.7 million to settle allegations that it overcharged customers through, quote, scanner violations or items that rang up at higher prices than their tags displayed. So if you were at Home Depot in the past couple months or years, check that lumber price. From there, we go to Synchon. A Neuralink competitor just announced that its brain implant allows users to control Amazon Alexa with their thoughts. The first user is a man with ALS who cannot use his arms or hands. Sara, what do you make of somebody else kind of making waves in this brain chip space?
Yeah, I know that this can be a sensitive topic, and I understand definitely how this has the potential to be a little scary, but the whole brain-computer interface sector really interests me, and I think it's really exciting, especially for these medical use cases. I think this is a really big deal when paired like this with smart devices, because this means that this man, Mark, now has access to all of the preset Alexa actions. So that means turning his lights on and off, making video calls, playing music, TV shows, and controlling all of the smart devices in his home. So this is a really big deal for kind of restoring those everyday tasks and making them accessible for people who are paralyzed.
Yeah.
So I'm personally really excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, and the transition from voice commands, which we thought were very convenient, to now thought commands, which are even more convenient. So there seems to be like a wealth of possibilities going forward in this sort of industry. It's really exciting. I think it's really cool.
Definitely.
And finally, the co-founder of Oracle, Larry Ellison, had a very sci-fi tinged idea for an AI-surveilled utopia. During a company meeting, the billionaire advocated for a Big Brother-esque system of cameras and drones monitored by AI that would record and report crimes. It's a hard no for me. Thank you, though. On to the main story. Today, we tackle the rise of chatbots and how Americans are warming up to them, or not. So, Sara, can you talk about if people have grown to be more accepting of chatbots?
Yeah, so 2 recent studies hint that the answer is possibly yes. The first is from KFF, which is a health policy nonprofit, and they found that 1 in 6 adults, so around 17%, turn to chatbots for medical advice at least once a month. And then for adults under the age of 30, that rose to 25%. And another study found that patients actually preferred answers written by chatbots over those from physicians. They found them to be more empathetic, so better bedside manner possibly coming from the bots. The caveat here is the doctors aren't going anywhere quite yet. Most adults, around 56%, said they aren't confident that they can differentiate between true and false claims from AI chatbots. So I think together, all of that information, when applied to healthcare, gives us a nice picture. I mean, human doctors and nurses aren't going anywhere, but I think that those first 2 studies are kind of an interesting hint at the fact that people might be more amenable than we originally were when ChatGPT first came out to entrusting bots for something like healthcare.
Yeah, in the healthcare sector is especially interesting because you have doctors and nurses, but it seems like this AI chatbot rise in the healthcare industry is mostly acting as assistants and doing all the things that doctors or nurses maybe don't exactly have time to do. At least I know I've been written a prescription by a doctor before and it said very little. So I'm sure that these are doing some good work for those doctors and nurses, but I don't believe we are able to exactly use AI yet to do surgeries, but they may be coming eventually.
Yeah, they are working on that. And as you said, this is more to assist healthcare professionals. I think that in most of the country, healthcare systems are very strained, a lot of times with administrative work and smaller tasks that are perfect for AI. So I think we'll definitely see that happening first before any chatbots are yielding the scalpels.
Yeah, of course. I've definitely heard reports about robots getting into that sphere. So, I mean, it's only a matter of time. But at least for now, we have a good grasp on it. And from there, also, you talk about a different kind of use of chatbot that I've also never heard of before. Can you talk about how chatbots are swaying us from conspiracy theories?
Yeah, so researchers designed a chatbot that they called DebunkBot, and they found that it was actually able to talk users out of conspiracy theories that they believed in. So they would ask the people in this trial to start off with a conspiracy theory that they actually thought was true. And the study showed that the bot reduced participants' belief in conspiracy theories by 20% on average. And other studies have shown that AI biases can shift users' opinions. So it can move in both directions. Bots can talk you out of a conspiracy theory that you believe in, but also if a bot were to have a bias, even if it was incorrect, from interacting with it enough, it can actually change your mind, essentially. So very delicate. I think it's good information to have to kind of proceed cautiously because these things are proving to be pretty powerful.
It seems surprisingly influential. I know how hard it is to change somebody's mind just as a person. So it's kind of surprising to me that 20% on average change their minds. And I would like video footage of this. I think that would be a great Netflix documentary series of conspiracy theorists getting their minds changed. So from there, we have to kind of broaden a little bit and talk about if this AI can change people's minds about these things, what else can it do? And can it be used in the therapy lens?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of writing already about people kind of turning to chatbots for therapy and mental health support. I think in the lens of what's happening in the country, that definitely makes sense. The average cost of psychotherapy in the US is $100 to $200 per session. And then for physicians in general, in 2022, the average wait time for a new patient doctor's appointment was 26 days. So in general, across different specialties, we just have a problem with access to care. So I think that gives some context for why people are turning to chatbots in the first place. It's not just out of thin air.
Yeah. And of course, there's been a lot of developments in bots that are emotionally intelligent as well, that you could vocally communicate with. And that's only going to get better or worse, depending on who you are as time goes on. But from there, are there any other kind of industries that chatbots have really been breaking into or AI is breaking into that maybe we wouldn't have let before if we trusted it less?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, it is working to assist surgeons in the OR. We are now using AI for air traffic control systems to make sure our planes land safely. It's being used to help diagnose and predict diseases. And we are already, letting it drive our cars, do our work, and play with our children because AI-powered toys are becoming increasingly popular. So I think we've definitely let it into our homes and our lives in some really intimate ways already. I think it will just depend when we start seeing that percentage tick up of how many people actually believe that they can tell what's true and what's false. Then adoption might rapidly change.
And where does the adoption stop, you think? Where do we just say, no more of this, or this can't get into that part of our lives?
Yeah, interestingly, where Americans at least seem to draw the line is politics. 2/3 say that they are not confident in AI-powered election information. So we will let it help us be cut open and babysit our children before we would trust it with updates on the election, which I thought was really interesting.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. I mean, we could just leave it to pen and paper then for the next 100 years.
Right.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in to the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email and throw us a follow on Instagram. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. With access to so much information, it's hard to feel like an informed, discerning citizen. That's why Make Me Smart, a podcast from Marketplace, makes it easy for you to stay in the know. Each weekday, hosts Kai Risdahl and Kimberly Adams unpack the latest from DC, explore the day's tech news, and they make sense of the economy. Because in a world that's constantly changing, we all need to stay smart. Listen to Make Me Smart wherever you get your podcasts. Heyo, hustlers. HubSpot's Inbound Conference is right around the corner, and you better believe the Hustle Daily Show will be there in full force. The lineup this year is as impressive as any. Ryan Reynolds, Serena Williams, Kara Swisher, just to name a few. And while we may not be as cool as Ryan Reynolds or as accomplished as Serena Williams, the Hustle Daily crew will be recording our podcast live every day, bringing you the latest in business and tech from the center of Inbound. You can catch us at the HubSpot Media Broadcast Studio every morning around 8 a.m. Be sure to check us out and come up afterwards and say hi. We'd love to meet you. We'll see you at Inbound.